In today's video, we're going to be discussing wildlife. Probably the biggest question we ever get asked is, what are the big five? Are we going to see the big five? What's the likelihood of seeing the big five?
So the big five are lion, leopard, elephant, rhino and buffalo. The big five is actually a leftover historical term from when people went hunting on safari rather than taking photographs, and these were considered the five most dangerous animals to hunt. Now they are sold as the five most exciting animals to see, but there is a huge number of other species which can be fascinating to see, so don't please focus too much on the big five. They are an iconic photographic goal for many people, but again, there's many other animals when you go on safari, so you'll be able to see a lot of other species. Some of those other animals that you might want to see are giraffe, zebra, hippo, antelope. There's the African wild dog, very, very endangered. Extremely lucky if you see some of those. Cheetahs, hyenas, crocodiles. There's over 2,000 species of birds that you might see across the African continent. Eagles, flamingos, bee-eaters. So there's always going to be something exciting to see.
Probably the second most asked question is the Great Migration. It's a natural phenomenon that occurs in the Serengeti and the Masai Mara, probably the best known animal migratory pattern on Earth, and we're very lucky to have it in Africa. It's a massive draw card for many, many of our clients, and the reason for it are numerous. Dan, give us a little overview.
Yeah, sure. So what is the Great Migration? Will I see it? Absolutely. I mean, you'll see part of the migration. You might not see a specific highlight like the Mara River crossing, which is one of the biggest sought after scenes of the migration that people want to view, because that's what you normally see in all the wildlife footage and documentaries and National Geographic. But it's the cycle between the Serengeti and Kenya. You'll see the migration in different stages. So whether you're in central Serengeti or you're in the south and you're seeing it there for the calving season, you'll see the migration in its different forms. So 2 million zebra wildebeest moving across. So you will see some part of the migration if you do a trip to Kenya and Serengeti, regardless of the time of year.
We often get asked, am I guaranteed to see the big five? Do people see it all the time? And the simple answer is no. The big five is very geographically specific. There's certain parts that don't have the big five. They might have 3 of the big five, especially when it comes to animals such as the buffalo that are restricted in terms of the geography. Etosha National Park in Namibia being a prime example, no buffalo there. You're also very much not guaranteed on any wildlife sightings. Without sounding condescending, Africa is not a zoo. There's no guarantee. However, the longer you spend on safari, the more chance you're going to give yourself to see the big five. It's definitely a bucket list. It's definitely a huge question and a huge expectation on behalf of our clients. Your guides on safari, generally, their aim is to show you the big five because they know once a client has seen the big five, that's a happy client. Short and sweet of it is, the longer time you spend on safari, the more you come back, the better the chance is that you are going to see the big five, but that's very much restricted to certain parks. If you do several game parks, that does change the ball game. But yeah, short and sweet of it is, your guide will try his hardest or her hardest to show you the big five, should those animals be present in that specific park. Another massive question, am I going to see a wildlife kill? This all comes from National Geographic, who spend years in a park filming for hours and hours and hours, and then they condense that footage into a 45-minute wildlife documentary where a lion or a leopard or a cheetah takes down an antelope, and everyone goes, oh my gosh, I want to see that. What are my chances of seeing that?
So when you're on safari, should you see a predator stalking their prey and killing it, you are going to be extremely lucky. Quite often it's possible to see predators when they're eating something that they've killed overnight. When you've been asleep, you go out on your morning game drive and the signs will be there, and the guides will be able to take you to see the action after a kill. It's also worth remembering that sometimes seeing a kill can be quite distressing, so manage your expectations for that. Watching a predator stalk can be just as exciting even though you don't see the kill itself take place. It's just seeing nature in all its glory. I was on a hike recently on Table Mountain and we saw a lizard stalking a praying mantis and eating it. That can be just as exciting as watching a lion looking for a springbok or an impala. It would be an absolute bonus if you do to get to see that on your safari, but you need to manage your expectations.
How close can we get to the animals?
Well, certainly on a game drive vehicle, the wildlife animals are so accustomed and used to those vehicles, the shape of the vehicle, the sound, smell of the vehicle. So, there's very little interruption or effect that being in a game drive vehicle, seeing game is going to have in terms of that animal's reactions. Obviously, if a driver or a guide or an individual is being irresponsible, that could have an effect, but that's the human, it's not the vehicle. So as long as the guide is following the wildlife code, keeping within a certain distance, parking in a certain area. If the lions come towards the vehicle and sit next to the vehicle, that's totally fine. So you'll be surprised how close you can get. And also the way the wildlife interact with the vehicle. Always listen to your tour guide. Don't stick your arm or head out too far or sit out of the vehicle. That will be posing a risk not only to yourself but actually to the wildlife also. So you can get very close, but obviously, keep it within reason. Don't do anything irresponsible and enjoy the safari experience.
Does my safari support conservation? Short answer is absolutely. Without tourism, without people going on safari, we wouldn't have the wildlife. The funds generated through safaris, through park fees, through permit fees, support a massive and wide variety of causes, from the protection of the actual animals in terms of anti-poaching, supporting many, many jobs within the African safari industry. Just as an example, your one guide will more than likely support at least 5-6 people within his community off his salary. So never question whether you going on safari is ethically correct. The short and sweet of it is absolutely. Without our clients, there would be no industry and the wildlife actually would suffer in turn. So I'd just like to kind of wrap up in terms of animals and wildlife. It's the main reason why people are coming out to Africa. Very few people are just coming to Africa to do an adventure activity or just to visit Cape Town. It's very much the animals are the focus of our industry. The likelihood of you seeing a good selection of animals is great. The Big Five is never guaranteed. However, every effort will be made to try to find the Big Five should they be present in a specific area. And we'd like to encourage you to check out our company reviews, see what we're up to, what our clients have to say to us. Check out our website, africanbudgetsafaris.com, in the link below. Please like, subscribe and share. Join our free email course. We'll have a link in the below that will give us a full summary of everything and anything you'll need to know. And we have a newsletter. It comes out once a month. You can subscribe on our website. And that's a wrap.